I do feel like African Americans are not knowledgeable about their roots, being that they are African. I don't think, well, I've actually met African Americans that are very in touch with their roots. They dress it, they live it, they breathe it. And then there are some who shun it, they don't want to be near it. And then you have the in-betweeners. They want to know, they're trying to figure it out. Like the people sitting here at the forum. Even as Africans, we don't know all of our culture because not every country in Africa has the same, culture. We don't have the same things that we do. So I think there are African Americans that want to be knowledgeable, so they can be, but I mean, knowing your roots, if you have an African friend, you can learn from the food to the way we dress, the way we dance, like she was talking. So it's not impossible to do, but things like ASA, like I keep saying, can help you to get closer to your roots.
David Gardy again. Definitely being knowledgeable of your roots is very, very like something that I would embrace because a lot of people don't know, and it's just simple research. I mean, you can ask your grandparents, different people that you know in your family, where are we from, because sometimes you'll get like a answer like, oh, you're from Michigan. But, if you ask your grandparents and you break it down, you know what I mean? Like, where were they from? Where were they from? Because a lot of times people do have written records and different things that you can use. Ancestry.com. If you've never ever heard of it, I mean, you can, if you really, really want to do some research on it. But,
Hey y'all, my name is Adia. Okay, so you were saying like that we're not in touch with our, African Americans, I'm African American. You said we're not in touch with our roots. And I do agree with that because when we got here, our roots were stripped from us. So a lot of our culture, we build or we like finesse on our own. Like we didn't really have anything by ourselves. So I do agree with you. But yeah, I agree with you.
What's the but?
Okay.
Go ahead.
Well, you were talking about how you feel like Africans and African Americans are different because of how we treat our families, our culture, our upbringing. But like just when you were saying oh, you don't serve things with your left hand or something like that. Like you were told like that's disrespectful. I wasn't told that. So to see stuff like that, it's like we were brought up with different rules. Like my thing was when I was young, stay out of grown folks' business, keep your mouth shut, sit in the bag, and don't talk. Like there was different things that were found disrespectful, and I don't disrespect my parents at all. But I feel like everybody's from a different place and everybody's taught differently. So I don't think you can judge African Americans in one big box and say we all do this because I'm from Northern Virginia, she's from Southern Virginia. We listen to different music, we act different, we eat different, we don't eat the same food. But I'm not gonna say she's not disrespectful, like, or you know what I mean? Stuff like that. So.
It's basically like a generalization.
Anybody else have an answer? Are you guys coming downstairs?
Coming downstairs.
You don't have to be African.
You don't have to be African.
Oh.
It's for you guys.
It's for all of you.
I have something to say. I don't feel like it's a difference, but I just feel like they're not knowledgeable of what, okay, it's like, I just feel like it's more like ignorance. Just like how you were saying that, oh, you're right, you don't know that. For us Ghanaians, maybe not Nigerian, but like, yeah, she's right. When we give something to our parents or something, or to an elder, we're not supposed to give it to with our left hand. It's not just like, it's more to it that, it's like she said, it's our culture. Same thing with you, it's different, but it's like if somebody tells you that and if you don't know about something, you can't be like, I don't know how to explain, just don't be ignorant to it, because at the end of the day, you're right, you don't know the culture. So if you're with your friend or something and you see something like like different within their household or something, just respect it. You know, it's just like, no, I'm not trying to say you were disrespecting it, but I'm trying to say like, in general, like I think that's what it is. Like most African Americans feel like this is not what we do, so like why y'all like that? And we feel the same way, like this is what we do, why you guys like that? Because the way Elizabeth was saying is that she feels like, we shouldn't disrespect our parents. But I'm pretty sure a whole bunch of African Americans aren't supposed to disrespect their parents either. But it's just like the morals and the values of it. Like, you know, we really just feel like we have a culture, like this is how we were brought up. Same thing with you, just like how you feel like you were taught to sit in the back and not say anything. We were brought the same way. It's just like the ignorance of it, you know? People just feel like if you're from Africa, you're this way, you're that way. You don't know, you're not knowledgeable of it. So don't be ignorant to it. That's it. That's all.
Last answer.
And this is more so a question to the board. How do you guys come up with strategies and plans to bridge that gap? Because when you look at like white America, you see Europeans and Caucasians getting together, and they're from two different backgrounds, and they're doing pretty good for themselves. And I feel as though us as people of color, that's why I'm using the term people of color, I feel as though we kind of like draw that gap. Or I'm from Africa and you're African American. No, it shouldn't be like that. Because at the end of the day, whether you believe it, whether he believe it, we all come from the same spot, like same place. So I mean, I feel as though like it's more important for us to come together and be as one. So.
Okay, we're gonna move on. We're gonna move on.
What was the question?
Oh, he asked the question.
I believe that just by having discussions like this to help open the minds of everyone to realize that, hey, although I'm African and you're African American, we're all one, we're all the same people. And to also just not to be afraid to like give an open hand and to like learn something new and to gain new experiences. Because that's what this is all about, and that's what we should all be about, just to gain new experiences.
I think it's also making each other feel comfortable enough to like approach each other and ask questions. Because I know some people, like when they see Africans, they're like, oh, y'all have stank faces, y'all look mean. But that's not the case. I mean, just because like, no, it's true. Some people really do think Africans are mean, and that's not the case at all. Because like, I might be sitting here with a straight face, but when you approach me, I'm like, hey girl, how you doing? You know what I'm saying? I just think like if we make ourselves approachable on both sides to approach each other and be able to like talk to each other, I think that helped some way.
Anybody else?
To be open-minded. Both sides should be open-minded. People of color should be open-minded. Not everybody is open-minded to opening up and learning of a new culture, or even being, oh, I'm gonna learn about the African American culture. Even though we were brought up as Africans, we don't know some of the things that African Americans have gone through or they've been through, where we have been through the different things. So being open-minded and wanting to learn and have knowledge and wisdom of other cultures is what both of us need to do.
To answer your question about strategies, I agree. Meetings like this, being open-minded. And also, I just want to clarify, like, just because Africans have their way and African Americans have their way, it's not right and wrong, it's just different. And just to kind of help African Americans out a little bit, my mom always says this one thing, and it's when you go to room, you do what the roomers do. So we came to America, so the same way, I'm not saying that we should throw our culture away, but there are some cultural morals that we have that actually make us struggle in America. You know, Africans do have certain mindsets and things that we do that don't work in America. And so we can learn those things, and then, you know what I mean? It's just a sharing of culture altogether. I mean, Caucasians have their things that they do too that we also learn and we use. So every culture has something that can benefit someone else. So it's not really about setting yourself saying, I'm African, so this is what's right for me. Just saying I'm part of mankind and I embrace all cultures, and just dip into each other's cultures just to make our lives better. I think that will help.
Next question. How does the media portray the African culture to look as a whole?
My chest.
Yeah, I'm going to go to the audience to come to the panel. Let me go to the audience and come to the panel.
So, like, when I first got here, they kept, like, I stay in Lansing, and then I got, like, a lot of questions, because some people are just ignorant. Like, the media portrays Africa as a whole as lions and gorillas, and I don't know, but they just, oh, so you live in a village, and then you, like, after, because I went back December, I literally took a picture of my house, and I brought it back, and I'm like, no, I do not live in a village. This is my house. And they're like, oh, you're rich? I'm like, I got here for a reason. They just, I feel like it's the media. They really, the way I see it, African Americans, we, as a whole, we don't have a choice, but we most likely tend to believe what the media says. So, and that's how, like, African Americans are built. They just believe what the media says, and then that's how they portray us as, and then they just take that on.
I'm gonna go off of what she said. Like, I was born here, but my parents took me back home to, like, learn our culture. I was born in, my parents are from Nigeria. But when I came back here, I had friends that were asking me a lot of questions about, like, okay, do you guys have cars? Do you guys have, like, houses? Do you guys live in the wooden shelter? I was just like, in my mind, I'm like, I wanted to curse them out, but I had to relax and think about it as if they don't know what's going on. They're here. They watch TV. They see what the TV portrays of Africa, which is starving kids and we need you to send money to help them. They never show the good part, you know, and it's kind of messed up how when African Americans, when they come to Africa, they when we see United States or London from Africa, is like this wonderful part that doesn't pay bills. People got money. You don't have to work. That's how they portray it. But when you come here, it's like a whole different case. So I think it's the media that is destroying what people are, the stereotype of what Africans should be.
Hello everybody, my name is Grace Apia. I'm from Ghana. I was born and raised in Ghana actually. I moved here when I was 13, and I wanted to piggyback off of what he was saying. I feel like it's the media. Like the media, they only like show the bad part of Africa. When I first got here, somebody asked me, did you have clothes on when you got on the plane? And I was like, yes, we have clothes in Africa. Somebody asked me, are you from the village? I said, no, I live in a house. I actually had to show her a picture of my house. And she was like, do you guys wear shoes in Africa? Because media always show pictures of kids walking around with no clothes, no shoes on. Have you seen lions? I'm like, okay. Look, I'm from Ghana. I haven't been to Nigeria. I haven't been to like any other part of Ghana, any other part of Africa. And the part that I lived in, I had clothes, I had shoes. A whole lot of people had clothes and a whole lot of people had shoes. They just made us look bad, and I'm just like, why is it just like that? Like, and in Ghana, before I first came here, America, it seemed like everything was perfect. You know, they had school was great. Education is really paid for. You know, you go to school, you learn a lot. You know, when I got here,
it was terrible.
It's really not the case. It's really not the case. And what media portray Africa as is really not that bad. It's really not. Because I feel like if it was that bad, people would not go there for vacations. I know a lot of Americans that would rather go to Africa on vacation than stay here. So I'm just like, so if you don't have clothes or shoes, why are you going back? You know? But that's just my opinion.
I see what you're saying. They do make Africa look like it's like dirt poor all the time. Everywhere people are starving. But me, like, I don't know. I don't really, my mom is like a nut free with media, how they lie and all that stuff. So I never believed it. All my friends who are African were always super smart. Their parents were doctors and everything. Like, I didn't look at Africans like, oh, you used to be poor. I used to be like, can you help me study for this math test? Like, I never looked at no Africans like this. I don't know. I guess just the people who are are you around and how your parents raised you? Because my mom always raised me to look at other cultures. I never looked at nobody like that, so.
Alright, bring it to the
A
page.
lot of people would ask me dumb questions like, oh, do y'all wear shoes in Africa? Do y'all dress in Africa? And things come to mind like, oh, if I'm wearing shoes now, like, why wouldn't I wear it back in Africa? So I feel like the media have a like huge impact on us young people, you know, people in America today. They see everything in the media is true, you know. And I think people need to do their homework and, you know, read more about Africa, you know, learn more about your roots. And we see that Africa is, you know, it's not bad in Africa. They got good places in Africa. Even in America, you have homeless people on the street too. So what I'm trying to say is like everywhere has some kind of bad place. You know, everywhere is not, you know, beautiful everywhere. It's gonna have bad. That's like life in general. So I just feel like people should do more of their homework on Africa instead of judging it based on television. Thank you.
That's exactly what I was going to say.
Well, I feel like it is the media, majority of the media, and along also our own ignorance of what we don't see. I know for myself growing up, I had a lot of people that just didn't know anything about Nigeria, and the first thing that they think of is they think of African booty scratcher or, you know, any type of like derogatory term that you can refer to an African as, which I felt was at times very like disrespectful. But you know, I try to think of it as now it's just that like a lot of people don't know about the beauty of Nigeria or just about Africa as a whole, and I try to be that vessel for them. So
Media has a very big influence on all of us. How many people in here got Instagram? How many people in here have a Snapchat, Twitter, everything, Facebook? Everybody has one. So when Africa is portrayed as somewhere that has stuff like people who don't have shoes on, people who do not have clothes, we need to feed the children, feed the hungry, everybody's gonna have that in their mind, being that, oh, we need to save Africa, or we need to do this, because the things that we see on TV or things we see in media has a very big influence. So if somebody's calling me African booty scratcher, I understand why, because that's what they see on TV. I've been called African booty scratcher since from elementary school up until middle school, because I'm African. I've never denied the fact that I'm African. I don't care if you call me African booty. Yes, of course, I did care in elementary school, because you know, that's hurt my feelings, but still, like, the media has a big influence on everybody and anybody, and if there's something being said as, oh, Africa, you need to feed the hungry, you need to feed the children, that's what they're going to portray you as. There are some houses in Africa that are bigger than this whole campus.
This whole campus.
Yes.